Okay, well, hey, welcome. This will be probably our officially first Specialty Forest Products podcast. Today, the guest will be Game Time Wraps and Coatings with Chris Pester, a Norwood sales manager, Joe Cochran, and myself from Specialty Forest Products. Chris, welcome, and just give me a little bit about what we're going to be doing tomorrow on February 11th. Is it Lunch and Learn? Is that what we're calling this one?
Lunch and Learn, yes. I've had people asking me for the last year, do I know of any trainings in the Northeast where they don't have to get on a plane and fly off somewhere, and something that isn't 3 days. So here we are with our first class. It's a Lunch and Learn. We're going to try and get through as much as we can, but we're just talking about finish. We're not talking about sanding. We're going to do, obviously, intercoat abrasion and dry times and conditions, site conditions, all of that.
So, hands-on sealers, finishes, best, I think from the notes you sent me, best practices, sanding sequences, vacuuming and tacking, and then this matters for a lot of reasons, right? Joe and I talk about it all the time. Contractors have seemed to be left in the dust. They're not easy to find. Neither are good drivers, anybody in this industry. And like Chris, you and I had talked about for a long time, we got to get back to educating, and we can't keep sending people all over the country to NWFA sponsored programs and things. And you said it, people go, where's the next Bona event? I don't know, Denver, Colorado. So we're able to take sponsors like you and your products, make use of your knowledge, your time, your equipment, your everything. And Joe and I, our base, right, Joe, is the hardwood flooring contractor.
Oh, absolutely. 95% of the people that walk through that door day in, day out are flooring contractors.
Yeah, we got a rap for years when the dealers would say, well, you're going to sell to everybody. Well, we're keeping the guys alive that you're going to need for your floor store to install things, because what do floor stores not have? Guys that can install.
They're the lifeblood of the industry. That's something that you and I have spoken on for over a decade now, is without the flooring contractor, there's no learned professionals that know how to do it adequately and up to code, where you're not going to get callbacks and issues.
Well, so Joe, start with you. God, how long have you and I worked together? I've done this almost 40 years. How you been with me for a long time?
14, working on year 15 now. I mean, I was just a 21-year-old kid.
Yeah, we just hit a year, right?
A
year ago, we're like, we need to open someplace that the contractors can, appreciate. But the great thing is you're that guy that started with nothing, clean slate, just, he knew nothing about any of this. And you're the guy that absorbed it all, everything. I stopped working the showroom 5 years ago because Joe could just go in and do it. And then even sales, I call it the Joe Vortex. I now move more operations. Joe, if it's involving sales, pricing, we call him AI Joe. He's got the whole book, everything's memorized. I have a computer, but Joe's there. So when we're doing something like this is pretty important for us to start giving back to the public like this, right?
Absolutely. And one thing I would like to say is this is not a Game Time sales event. As you said, Steve, best practices, right? We're not talking about we will be talking about Game Time products, because obviously I'm not going to put down somebody else's, but we'll be taking questions and answering everything best as we can based on industry best practices.
Question for you, just give me a little preview, because we're going to probably try to do some type of wrap up with this. When we're talking about, the company is Game Time Wraps, but you're also Game Time Coatings. There's a few different names.
Yeah, Game Time Wraps is how we started, actually wrapping vehicles. And the vinyl then went to sports floors, and that's been happening for almost a decade now. We are in our second year of residential, and we're doing wonderfully. All of our products have come from the sports world. Our full line of MFMA approved products, that is that they're allowed to go on NBA and NCAA floors. If you look on the MFMA website, you will see a list of approved finishes. So we've taken that line and we've silicated them. That is, lowered the sheen for the matte, satin, semi-gloss. And so we have a full line of residential.
Well, and I'll crowbar it in. One of the things that fascinated me is a lifetime of working in labs with chemists and finishes and all this. That's a very interesting thing. What I found unique when you and I spoke, and you were our rep for other products in the past, because you're a pro going way back like the rest of us, is when it's if you even say to anybody up until an hour and a half ago, if you said, well, why don't you just put a sticker in the gymnasium or go get your wrap guy to do it, we would say to people, well, you can't do that because they would peel.
Right.
But I don't know how long, it wasn't too long ago that I heard that Game Time had come up with the formula for their vinyl with their logos and graphics and their wraps that could be coated with your finish and your finish only. This opens up a whole market. I painted gymnasium for years, and I'd have to get on the floor with a stencil if I was lucky and hand paint whatever the school logo was, etc. You guys can now put about a photo of anything into a floor, right? And code it.
It's really quite incredible. So Bob Sa is the guy that got the patent in the US for coating over vinyl on wood. We've saved guys an amazing amount of time. If you talk to some of the gym people, some of their very intricate logos could be 4 or 5 days of painting different colors, waiting for it to dry, pulling stencils. So now we certainly don't want to take away from the artistry in the industry, but we are able to offer something a little different. We can print anything. We can print a picture of your beautiful kids and put it on the floor. We can put sports logos. We could put a picture of you in the middle of your golf backswing, medallions, borders. You don't have to cut them in anymore. Really, the world is your oyster.
How many gymnasiums and all-purpose rooms are there in every town in America? And you look and you go, wow, what if you put, Joe's Floors or Tim's Plumbing? Used to be a big deal. You could put that down in vinyl. The guy doesn't pay his bill, we'll take that out of there.
Yep.
What we have a customer, right, Joe?
Yeah.
Guy built himself a game room, and he wanted all these sports logos, and we contacted Game Time and like, yeah, we can do those. It used to be like, I quoted one the other day. It was like $8,000 for what they were going to do, and the stencil was like $1,100.
Yeah.
And he goes, well, that seems pricey. I go, how long is it going to take you to stencil and hand paint that for the owner to come in and go, it doesn't quite look like the right color? I mean, you can do perfectly anything with this stuff.
You should see, we've got some amazing, go on our website, Game Time Coatings, or Game Time Wraps, and YouTube and all these social media places. You will see some incredible floors. We have got lots of 3D designs out there. There are gymnasiums that are covered 100% with vinyl, and there's others where they just do the center court logo. You also touched on, Steve, the sponsorship. This vinyl can go anywhere. We can put it on glass, we can put it on masonry, we can put it on wood, we can put it on metal. So, when you go to your local sports field where they play baseball and you see all the advertising around the side, the ice rinks, all of that, everybody does it. Well, we can do that for school gymnasiums now. They can sell advertising. They could have the local tire place or the dentist or the lawyer or whoever, and they pay whatever for 3 or 4 years to have their name on the floor. They can be changed easily and they can last forever.
Joe and I started it, it's been a year with Especially for us. Right off the bat, we didn't even get rolling. I had to go to Vegas, and then we all went down to the NWFA show, and Joe anchored the building here. And when we spoke with the owner, Kevin Van Beek, he kind of was like, listen, you guys are my first round draft picks. What do you want to do? And I'm like, well, we need to reinvent connecting with the hardwood flooring contractor, because after COVID, guys went from fighting over $175 a foot to $650 a foot, and now everybody with a powered drill and a hacksaw and a saw blade has jumped into this game thinking they're going to make $6 a foot. I've seen more hacked up floors than you could, possibly imagine. Joe and I spend half the day looking at broken machines, teaching people how to use the right applicator. It's just a myriad of things. So luckily, with specialty, with Kevin and Ryan and the guys down in Hopedale and Plastow, we're like, let's combine our efforts and start providing back to the community that built us, which is why you're here. 3-part question for you. Give me a little bit about your background in flooring, how that got you up into your involvement at Game Time, and then just tell me after that, how does that day-to-day work with how you're going to conduct this workshop?
Okay. Well, I'm 26 years in this country. Come from England, and I got straight into hardwood flooring when I came. Worked with a company in New York for about 5 years. Then I moved up to Massachusetts and I started my own business. I had that for about 13 years, doing high-end residential in the Boston area. And my rep at the time, Mr. Mike Hoy, I was using a different product, and he brought me on to that company, and I was the rep for them for a couple of years before they got taken over by private equity and I got laid off. Now I am back at game time. So, yeah, I've been in the industry for about a quarter of a century.
And Mike's with you on this one.
And Mike is with me. We've also got the chemist that was at that old company, the guy that made a lot of the top-selling products in the industry, is now with us. So we're a new company, but we're certainly not new people. Actually, in our sales force, we've got, I think, about 300 years combined experience. So we know what we're talking about. We're tried and tested, and we want to be able to give back. When Steve first opened Specialty Forest Products here in Hudson, we talked about doing trainings, and I love it. I went to every training I could as a contractor. I want to learn as much as I can at any given opportunity. And sometimes you go to these seminars and you don't learn a whole lot, but you learn something. You always come away with something. And also networking, getting to know other guys, So I would advise anybody that is able to go to any training that any company puts on. You don't have to be using their products, but it's just good to educate yourself. And the reason for doing that is to avoid pitfalls. We all make mistakes, and I've made millions of mistakes, and I've learned by them. And that's what we're trying to do. We're just trying to help people to be successful, that they go to the job site and they think about the conditions. They think about all of the things that can change what's happening. They've got to be educated. They've got to have somebody to call and talk to about things. So that's what we're doing. We're just trying to give back a little bit.
I like how you throw it out there. It's called the Lunch and Learn.
Yes.
What I like about that is it looks like that this is condensed. So it's not like, we've done before, Joe, right? You just open all day.
Yeah.
You throw out donuts and then two people show up and then 8 more, but they're all your employees or your truck drivers. And you never know what you're going to get. And here in New England, you can get a snowstorm, you can get whatever. Yeah. But I like that it's condensed. You're going 10 to 2.
Yep.
Right. So why is that?
Well, because everybody's busy, right? And again, I was a former contractor. I understand. We've done it starting at 10 so that if guys need to get to the job first, they can. We're going to try and finish at 2. If guys need to get to the job after, they can. We're going to be here all day. So if things go longer, that's fine. But we are going to try and get through the whole program in those 4 hours, and that does include lunch. Obviously, if things come up, we can split off. We have lots of people here. Steve Diggins is very knowledgeable in our industry, as is Mike Hoy. Ryan Baker's coming up, and I'll be here. So I think we're gonna get through a lot of stuff. And it may be that what comes out of it is that we need to do a lesson on more specifics.
Yeah, last time you went over coatings. This one seems to be. This isn't the typical coating seminar. It's different, right?
Yeah, I mean it's just on finish, but we are going to talk quickly about sanding sequence, why it matters. We're going to talk about solids content. We're going to talk about different methods of application. We're going to talk about the environment. It's important that guys understand the environment. There are times where a product will work like this on this day and it will work like that on that day. Why is that? Sometimes it really helps to understand. Again, just looking to educate people to save them time and save them having problems.
What's our jump off point? This is basically they arrive and your floor is already sanded flat and smooth. Here we go.
Yep,
It's
exactly.
kind of a wrap up, right? By the way, though, you would say, what was your sanding sequence? Because you're going to get into that. Some guys wonder why their finish isn't looking as good or their stain doesn't look as good because, they're jumping too many grits and sequence. I know that's part of your training.
Yep.
Real world applications, what we're trying to simulate, right? We just put out there, Joe, about 25 foot length of 4 foot wide flooring.
Yeah.
We can put a whole floor out there for this. This is all we need for this. Chris already went out last night and set up the wood, the base of it. We just have raw wood. And then what did you do before this just now today?
Yep. So I've actually already pre-sealed with our oil sealer one section, and then I have sealed with our water-based high build another section. And the reason I've done that is so that when people come in tomorrow, they can put down oil sealer on raw wood, they can put down water sealer on raw wood, they can put down sealer over sealer, they can put down poly over sealer, they can put down water-based poly over the sealer or on raw wood. We just want, everybody to be able to do everything or try everything. So I believe we have that.
So it'll be, it's kind of set up, but you'll be demonstrating as well as letting guys jump in and get their hands on things.
Yeah, absolutely. Everybody's kind of shy at these things, and sometimes it's hard to get people to jump in, and other times, people jump right in. So obviously we know how to put the products down. I want to see other people putting them down.
Exactly.
And seeing people's methods, and everyone can learn. There's more than one way to swing a cat, as they say. There's certainly more than one way to coat a floor.
Remember that, Joe? He's from another country. They swing cat.
They swing cats over and
Apparently that's what
that explains Big Ben and all of that.
Yeah, I would listen if it were in your place. I would swing a cat.
Yeah.
Here I might not swing a cat. You got giant rabbits at your house, and you swinging. Joe, in the mic there. So who you bringing in for this one and why?
A couple guys that I've invited to come to it would be the guys over at Phillips Flooring, just because of their ability in the industry, the foothold that they have in their territory. A few different contractors like that I've spoken
like pros and newbies.
Yeah.
Pros love to come to these things, whether they've seen this stuff or not, right?
Yeah, absolutely. You want to bring in a diversity into an event like this. Just you're able to learn what your guys don't know, what you do know, and tricks that they may have that you haven't thought of.
Mm-hmm.
So it adds the ability to learn together. Because one thing, as we know in the industry we're in, is everyone always thinks they have the path of least resistance, when the man next to you might have a smarter way to stain than you do.
Right.
And that's something that I've picked up over the decade and a half that I've worked with Steve, is there's so many different ways to get the same accomplished finish done.
Yep.
That work for guys that have a crew of 20 that don't work for a guy that has a crew of 3, because they got to move faster and more precise.
Absolutely, Joe. Absolutely. And not only that, but of course, everybody's nervous to try new products or new ways of doing things.
They're always gun shy, yeah.
Of course, and I get it. Again, as a former contractor, you've worked hard to get your floor to a certain point. Now you're going to flip a coin or feel like you're flipping a coin. So this is great because people can come here and they can play. They can practice. They can mess things up. Let's put something down the wrong way and let's see what happens. I did a contractor event up in Rochester, New York, months ago. And one of the guys that came in bought one of his employees that was like a month in. And he had not been allowed to put down any products. But with me, he put down just small areas, but he put down everything. Like I've just said, he had the ability to put down an oil sealer, a water poly, an oil poly. And that kid, when he first went to put down the products, was nervous. You could see he was nervous. His boss was watching him. He'd never done it before. And literally, 4 or 5 minutes later, he stood up, having put down a bit of everything, and he had this smile and he had this confidence of, that's not such a big deal. That's easy enough. I can do that. That's not a big problem. So now when he goes back to the job site and he does it the first time, he's got some experience. He's got some confidence even. And if you've got to see somebody going, hey, don't do it like this, do it like that, again, it's all just about making you feel better when you want to be able to change things on the job site.
Repetition is the mother of skill. Man, like I can watch a video. Oh my God, between AI and YouTube, let's say I'm going to do a brake job on the car. I swear I watch everything and I do one side. It takes me an hour and a half. but the next side takes 10 minutes.
Right.
Right? Like these guys that do a floor, if they were out there, they'd go, oh, God, what did they tell me to do? And they will run right back to their old products and their old ways because they just want to get paid and get out of there. So I have my own, I taught for 3 years in a program where we taught the NWFA program and every part of it you had to spend 3 months with me yapping about flooring. So I have my little breakdown here. You tell me if these things are included in what we're going to see tomorrow. I assume you're probably going to cover at least skim over proper grit progression, scratch depth. Is that I think that's part of your program, right?
Yep, absolutely. We're going to start there. Yep.
We're going to get Venn diagrams and sketches and aerial photographs.
No, we're not going to get crazy like that. We're just going to go through the reasons, right? Let people understand. I personally learn better when I understand the why. So let's, make sure that everyone just understands why we have to do what they tell us to do.
Well, you know what? I've seen you do some work. You use Tampico brush. I've seen them. I've sold them. I've never used it. Is that's a good tool to throw in the
Tampico's great. We're not really going to get. We'll maybe talk about Tampicos tomorrow. Okay. That's something that the industry used to use a lot more, and then it seemed to die away, and now it seems to be coming back. There's lots of advantages for a Tampico. Yes, we'll be going over that.
All right. Quiz for you. Give me 4 types of applicators we'll be seeing.
Okay, well, there's T-bars.
Correct.
There's rollers.
Joe, do you know any of these?
Yeah.
What else you got?
Lamb's wool.
Oh!
Pad applicators.
There we go.
Brushes. We've still, you know what? I spoke to a guy the other day that still does every floor with a 10-inch brush.
I did it with a 4-inch for 2 years. That's why I can't walk anymore.
A lot of what you're doing tomorrow, Chris, is going to be really good for the contractor base because there's going to be guys that either cut in but don't do a brush on their edges or something different that they're going to pick up from the guys that come in and just be able to diversify what they're doing scenario by scenario. And that's one big thing that Steve and I have talked on is we want to be able to give back to the community that's given both of us so much. And that's why we were so happy to get involved with specialty forest products. I mean, Steve's been in the industry for 40 years. I've been in for 15, and it's guys that we see day in, day out on a weekly basis.
Yep.
It's just giving back to the people that we appreciate and continue to show that appreciation for their business and their well-being and their companies succeeding.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we'd like to do a wrap-up with you after to see a lot of what the people digest, what they learn, what they keep with them. Listen, if they walk away with 1%, I'm happy. But I think that there's a lot for guys to learn. Are you going to cover a little on the chemistry, like solid contents and films and how they dry and how polys dry?
Yes.
Okay. Waters and oils.
Yes.
Okay, gotcha. Are we talking stains or not this one?
I don't think we're going to do stains in this one. I think we've got enough on our plate as it is right now. Stains could be a whole different session.
Yep.
And lots of people haven't even buffed in stains these days. People could come and do that one day. So
dry times, flow rates,
yes,
intercoat abrasion.
Yes.
One I love to hear about, which I didn't have growing up, like. But I was a boy, like I'm an armadillo now. They go back to hot coating.
Yep.
I that makes so much. I don't know what we used to call it, but now they call it hot coating, which is basically jumping on a floor while it's probably not ready. It's hot coating it.
Yeah, that's so again. Yeah, that's a great point. We will be talking about hot coat windows, chemical bonds, mechanical bonds, the do's and don'ts, and again the whys, so people understand.
Couple rapid fire things. What do you think that 2 points? We'll start with Chris. What do you want guys to walk away with?
I'd like them to walk away with some, confidence, and maybe a little bit more knowledge, and certainly I'm sure that there'll be a bit of networking. I love the fact that these days with the internet, hardwood floor contractors are talking to each other. And maybe even helping each other.
Yeah.
Back in the old days when I started, you'd even see guys sitting outside the distributor in the truck waiting for the guy that's in there to leave.
Right.
Because he's the competition. Talk to each other, help each other, lend each other equipment if you need to. Or one guy's busy, one guy's quiet. Can you come and help me? All sorts of things like that. So this is, as we've said, this is a new branch that you guys have opened, and it's fantastic. Building. We've got lots of space, and I think we're going to do a lot of these. I know I'm thinking about a problems, causes, and cures, discussion seminar. Call it what you will. I think there's a lot that we can do here. I'm looking forward to. I'd like to be here when you do, machines and sanding, all of it. Let's just let's be the place where people know they can come and they can get good information. And on top of that, as I'd like everybody to know, I do of course offer to go out to job sites. Very happy for somebody to give me a call and say, "Hey, come on out."
Joe, you want your whole second floor redone, right?
Yeah, I mean, hey, you let me know when I'll get the furniture moved.
No
in.
problem. I will watch you sand that floor all day, Joe.
Steve can tell you that is not a good idea. There's something about an Epoch HD that went flying into a wall at a former
I have a
employer.
video of him that just about went viral. It was, I love Joe, but I've got a lot of laughs out of it.
Don't give him a buffer.
No,
Ask Steve.
it's not fair. You know, we always do it in training.
Yeah.
I would go out with like a white pad, and I'd run the buffer with my pinky, and then this is terrible. I'd put a 60 grit screen under it on a raw floor, and I ask somebody who wants to try. They go, "I got this," and they grab it with one hand and they gallop straight into the wall with it. Yeah, it's fun.
See, for Steve, it's a fond memory because he's got that mental image in the video of me going off the plank with the Epoch.
What's your therapy for it?
Oh, that and the fact that morning was actually one of the last normal days we all got to have for a couple years. Is that American Standards Day back years ago was the day that COVID came into reality. And they shut everything down later that day. And I only remember it because it was Friday the 13th in March.
Huh.
I remember because I was pretty active on Facebook at the time, and I stole the line from Ted. #grr Mondays. There's Joe. Wow. So, okay. You're going to cover, this is always a fun thing to cover too, is you're going to cover some myths, misconceptions, mistakes people make, because everybody does them, and I think a lot of people will repeat them if they don't know what they're doing.
Yeah. No, hopefully, again, the people that come are going to, jump right in and give us all their questions. Everybody has those thoughts. Hey, does this work? Does that work? I've sometimes thought of trying this, Hopefully, we'll get lots of interactive conversations.
Well, you're going to go over a little bit of. I like when people when the chemistry side of it comes up, when people talk about solid contents and sheen levels, etc. You're going to throw a little bit of that chemistry in there.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay, cool. How about little, what do we call them, Joe? In the problems, causes, and cures, like anomalies, like lap lines, streaking, adhesion issues.
Yeah. It again, seeing how much time will allow. We can get into that, but yes, like I said, I'd love to do the next one on problems, causes, and cures.
You covering cleaning products too? Are we getting into that, or is it just the finishing part of it?
I'm not planning on going into cleaning,
but probably not to let people know what not to clean their floor with. If you're okay.
Absolutely,
I got you. Okay, yep. Joe, what do you think we're trying to? What do you think we want to gain out of this at Specialty from our attendees?
I mean, from our attendees, product diversity, good feedback as far as the flow rate of one finish versus the other, tricks that you might have taught them they've never thought of, the ability for our customer base to come to us and appreciate what we're doing, what our vendors are doing to help support the flooring community. I think the most important thing is we're offering something that no one's done in a long time, and that's taking care of the flooring contractor and helping educate them, and that's where you're seeing a big lack in the industry.
Absolutely, and you guys are the best at that in the Northeast. So,
I think the one of the things that we focus on, like, and listen, Joe and I know, and it's the toughest part of my job is when I have to be straight up and honest and with people about their products and their chemistry and how they work. And you know me, I'm a big marketing guy too. I've seen the best products in the world just die. Joe, you've been with me when I've pulled somebody in my office and said, "You're a really good rep. Go get a job. You are in the wrong place at the wrong time with the wrong product, with the wrong." Game Time is slotted right there for that quality, the diversity, the vinyl portion of it, people that like to have a different choice. We talk about this all the time. Go in and buy a Coke, a Pepsi, a Mountain Dew, whatever. You're buying milk. You don't need 8 versions of milk, right, Joe? But no. Soda, I can sell 9 different oils, this, that, the other thing. Guys get brand specific. They like to be comfortable with what they're comfortable with. So we're hoping to impart upon our people is to try your products. But in between, you and I and Joe always have these really straightforward conversations about what we think works doesn't work, but more importantly, what does the contractor think? Because sometimes what they think is absolutely point on, and sometimes what they think is absolutely bias based, point off. They couldn't get any wronger. What things do you look forward to learning, or what things have you learned from listening to contractor feedback? Because you've done a ton of these.
You know, the most important thing I think is to be open-minded. The call that I get that worries me the most is the guy that calls up and says, I've been doing this for 20 years and I do every floor the same. Every floor is different and the environment is different. So being open-minded to learning as much as you can about everything. Nobody knows it all. Even the great Steve Diggins.
Oh, I know him. We went to different high schools together. So listen, we'll probably wrap things up because I want to be kind of set the table for tomorrow. It'd be really interesting to kind of be able to watch what happens. I think Joe will probably videotape it, do the audio work. Then I'm hoping that next time we turn this on, we'll be bringing some guys in and find out what they learned. And these guys won't hold back. They'll tell you what they liked, didn't like, what they thought. And Chris is always giving people samples in the field.
Absolutely.
Not a quart. We're talking about how big a job are you doing to finish 3 coats? Fine, here you go.
Right.
And our guys will always come back to us straight up and on. So, Joe, what time's the go tomorrow?
Kickoff is at 10 a.m. until or through 2 p.m. whenever Chris is wrapped up or Chris and Mike are wrapped up. And we look forward to getting more information, continuing to build faith in our customer base and the products that we provide. And thankful and happy to have you alongside with us.
Yeah, 15 Constitution Drive at the new Specialty Forest Products in Hudson, February 11th. Chris, anything these guys will need to bring with them or just themselves? Or do they need to bring dirty poly socks? Can they bring new socks? You're going to make them dance around?
No. Just bring a good attitude and open mind to learn. We talked earlier about how flooring contractors are reticent to try new things. If we didn't try new things, we'd still be putting on poly with a lamb's wool. Yeah. We wouldn't have planetary machines. We wouldn't have dust containment. So, again, my advice is to be open and come and learn some things and see what you think.
Well, we're going to cover everything that contractors are going to need to understand moving forward, not just product specific with your products. So we're going to talk a little bit about that too, as far as why the industry has changed its levels of how polys are designed so that, water bases used to get 800 to 1,200 feet and they were too thin. Nobody could transition into things like, people wonder why no one rolls here. Well, for years, everybody was using a concrete, weighted T-bar or a lamb's wool that's as light as a feather. In the industry, where they finally had to say, well, we need a flow rate that's similar with water, with oil, with alcohol-based products, everything. So, Chris, you're going to cover all that stuff tomorrow. I'm really excited. Joe's really excited. We appreciate you coming here, spending time with us. And next time we get together, we'll see how things went. Good, guys? Sound good?
Absolutely.
Excellent.
Yes,
Appreciate
absolutely.
the
All right.
opportunity. Thank you, especially.
Tomorrow will be great.
All right, we will be here. Joe, make sure that Chris gets us a really good lunch tomorrow. Doesn't have to be what you're giving the other folks. Yeah. Something good would be really good.
I thought he was flying Mike Hoy in with the smoker. I mean, if that's not what we're getting.
Wait, no, you say Mike was bringing the smoker. He comes in with 2 artificial Cubans and says, "Do you want me to light that for you?" Is this a cigar guy?
Yeah, there might be some cigars around tomorrow. Yes.
You know what? Mike's not here yet, so let's talk about him for a second. And by the way, with Mike and I think that's like our 3rd or 4th or 5th podcast if we jump him in here with us.
You are 2 of the most experienced guys in the industry right now,
and the most handsome. I have more hair than him too.
Yes, you do.
And I colored it last night, so I don't look too old for these new guys that come in. I'm good. My wife keeps me running properly. All right, boys, we're going to cut it off there. Let's pick it up tomorrow and see how we do.
Excellent.
Thanks, guys. Thank you.